Hey, you guys, I am so excited to be able to introduce Stephanie to you guys. You see me a lot, but Stephanie is a very, very crucial part of Pretty Focus. She is actually the co-creator, and she is an extremely talented blogger, and I am so lucky to have been working with her for the last 4 years. I can't believe it's been that long. But so Stephanie, tell us, how long have you been a blogger?
So I've been a blogger for about 9.5 years. But not a professional blogger. Like 9.5 years ago, nobody started blogging for income or any of those things. So,
Right.
definitely started as a hobby, like almost 10 years ago. But then I'd say for about 5 years, I've been serious about it.
Okay. So over the last 10 years, which seems crazy, I was
Yeah.
like, I don't even know
Yeah.
blogs existed then.
Yeah.
Really. And Pinterest was just, I don't even think
There was no Pinterest. Yeah,
No
there
Pinterest.
was no Pinterest when we started, which is nuts. I can't think of a world without Pinterest.
I know. I can't, I think of like the first couple of times, because I think it was like by invite only or something for like the first, as they did like a soft launch, and my friends would tell me about that. They're like, it's basically an online bulletin board where you can pin
Yes.
your ideas, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's weird. But so Pinterest has been huge for you. But anyway, what has been some of the biggest obstacles you've faced over the last 10 years?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's significant ones when you're a blogger because, I mean, we're talking about, we just said like 10 years ago, this didn't even exist. Like it certainly didn't exist as a career. People barely knew what blogging was. And so I think as bloggers, we're almost like, it's like the Wild West, or we're trailblazers where we're having to figure out how to make money. We're having to figure out how to sustain blogs and sustain audiences. There's no like roadmap that shows us this is the next steps that you need to take in order to be successful. You really have to figure it out on your own. And that is by far the biggest challenge.
Yeah, I can understand that, because you're right. But now you're creating that.
Yeah, we're trying.
For people who are coming in behind you.
Absolutely.
So now you've been doing this for about, like you said, for 10 years. Do you ever outsource any of your work?
Yeah, so what I quickly realized when I started taking blogging seriously is that it's a business, and you can't run a business by yourself as one person. And there was just far too much work to do. So I gradually began outsourcing different roles in my blog. And a big one has become redoing posts. So you can think of it, before Pinterest, photos didn't matter as much. Like, just skill level was different. And so a lot of those old posts, they look terrible by a 2020 lens, like an eye and an aesthetic. They just look awful where they were perfectly acceptable in 2010. So for me to create new content and go back and redo the old content is just not feasible. Like, you're only one person. So it's become like a critical need for me to hire out to people help me to redo that old stuff.
Yeah. So why, I mean, it was from 2010. Obviously you've got new stuff coming out. Why would you even, I guess, use the resources to update those old posts when you have so much more new stuff to come out?
Right. So I think it's one of those things, like when it's online, it can live forever. So someone, it's not like it just appears like a magazine and then, you put it in the recycle bin and that's the end. Like something online lives forever. So people are still searching for lasagna recipes, and they will find mine created in 2010, but the pictures look terrible. So they're going to move on to a newer created recipe. But the recipe is still the same. It's just that the pictures have been updated. So it's more appealing to a reader. So because posts live forever on a blog, in order for people to still want to visit them, they need to be updated to today's standard.
Okay. So in order to update them, you're not doing that. You are hiring people to do that.
Yeah, I am not physically capable of doing that amount of work plus everything else that it takes to run a blog. So, you know, like creating a post is one thing. You've also got to get people to that post. You've got to maintain social media. You've got to do all the technical parts of your job. There's just too much to do. And there's no way that one person can do it to the caliber that I need to do to sustain a blogging business that's as big as the one that I've created.
Mm-hmm. So you've been hiring photographers now since, I guess, I mean, you hired people before me. So what, about 2015? For about 5 years, you've been hiring people to do stuff for you.
Yes. And I would say it started really small because there was, you know, I just happened upon somebody who was doing it, and it really grew over time. And now that we've created Pretty Focused, and I use Pretty Focused photographers exclusively, I've really been able to ramp up my efforts. So before, you know, I might have been able to redo 1 or 2 posts a month, but now I can redo 5 a week if I want. Like, it's just allowed me to outsource and just get more done faster because there's people I can rely on. So it's made a huge change.
So you yourself, like one blogger, I know there's thousands out there. You have the ability to hire 20 jobs out a month.
Yeah, that's the minimum. So I am probably doing more than that just myself because I want to have like at least a new post every day of the week done. Plus there's sponsored content. So we haven't really talked about that, but sponsored content is like when a brand, like, you know, that you might see in a grocery store comes and asks me to create a recipe with their product. So a lot of times if we have a lot of those, or if it's a specific area, I'll outsource that to a photographer as well. So, you know, if there's a product that can only be found in Arizona, or it's only available in a launch in Arizona, I can hire a Pretty Focused photographer in Arizona to go get those pictures for me.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes can be more than that, like more than 20 jobs a month just for my one blog.
Just for your one blog, which is a lot for like me to keep up with. Like, oh my gosh, that's insane, you know, for one photographer to do 20 a month. But and I know we've got Pretty Focused students doing 20 to 40 a month.
Yeah, which is incredible, right? And I knew, so before Christmas, so the way it works in blogging is in Q4. So that's like Christmas time, basically from like Thanksgiving to Christmas is like the busy time. We have to do the most posts. People are like really looking for food to like serve during the holidays. So, you know, you try to ramp up your efforts. And it was shocking to me because we couldn't even everyone was so booked out that it was hard to get a photographer to do the number of posts that we needed.
That is crazy.
It made me feel really good too that everyone was working. But then I was saying, so this girl Lane works with me. I'm like, don't they know I should be the priority?
Like they should stop
so
everything.
happy that everyone's working, right?
That's so funny. I know. That's the thing is like if you just go down our list of people in the Buyers Club, they are booked.
Yes.
And they can't take on any more. Like we have got to get more photographers in here because of the amount of work that's out there.
Yeah, it was I remember saying to you, I'm like, I haven't been promoting the Buyers Club to bloggers because there's no one's available. And I didn't want to like bring people in, like say like, oh no, there's photographers here you can use. And then no one would be available. Like, and we checked and everyone was working.
Yeah.
Right? I think there was one person maybe who said she could probably take on a couple more clients, but considering like that was like, it feels good. Like that we're obviously filling a need and there's so many other people like me who need to outsource.
I think it's interesting how people, or you have people coming in, photographers coming in, they want to know about it. And they're like, is the market oversaturated?
Yeah.
Like there's gotta be a lot of people doing this.
Yeah.
And you know, I just don't want even I just talked to somebody a couple months ago and they're like, I'm just afraid that I'm too late to the game. And I'm like, no. Please join. Yeah. Like we need you so bad.
I know.
Because there's there's still a lack of photographers. Even all the people that have gone through Pretty Focus, there's still a lack of photographers.
Yeah, well, I mean, you and I had that conversation like morally, right? When we started, we're like, okay, well, how do we know how many courses, like how many students can we teach before we saturate the market and ruin it for everyone? Because that's not our intention.
No, yeah,
And,
not at all.
so we were like, oh, we'll revisit in a year, and if we've saturated, and we're not like, it's not even close.
Not
like,
even close. Yeah. So, because what's great is, so you say that you've got 20 plus a month.
Yeah.
That's a lot for one person. So bloggers will actually hire out
Multiple.
2,
Yeah.
3 content creators, because, I will, me, myself on my books, I'll have 3 different bloggers that I'm working with, and so they have that too. I've got 3 different bloggers. You've got 3 different photographers you're working for. Now you can just, and that's what I did with you for the longest time. Is like, I can't even think about taking on any other bloggers. Like, I work with Stephanie.
Yeah. And
you
it's
kept me busy for 4 years.
Yeah. And it's like, you find someone you can trust, who like you build a rapport with, and then on both sides it makes it successful, right? For both of us, that like, oh, there's a give and take, that there's a trust, that both of us will handle things with care. And I think a lot of people are starting to get to that now also with bloggers, where they have like their favorite clients and they've dedicated space to them, and then that means like there still needs to be more new photographers coming in to get like even the one-offs and build their clientele. So it's like so funny to me that we talked about like saturating the market in a year. Like, can you remember that?
Yes, I know.
Like, oh, I think you even wrote that to me. Will we saturate the market? I was like, I don't know. And it's like not even.
No.
I'm not concerned about that at this point. Like maybe a couple years from now, maybe, but there's so many bloggers. There's so many bloggers I don't even know of, right? Like, we only have 300, and like there's like, in one ad network I'm in, there's 3,000 bloggers, right? Like that, and that's just one ad network. So these are bloggers making good money,
right?
So we can afford to hire out. So we haven't even scratched the surface.
And you got to think that, it takes a few years to start making money on your blog too. So by the time a couple of years go by, even though there might be more photographers, even more bloggers have come to that point where they're ready to hire out.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, as photographers, I mean, right now it's like photographers and bloggers, but this is going to go, you know what I mean? It's going to grow on both ends.
Yeah. And just the opportunities are becoming bigger for bloggers, so they'll have bigger budgets. And I think it's only going to grow. Like at this point, like it used to be a concern when we first started, but it's not even on my mind at this point, because I know how desperate bloggers are to get photographers, and how many out there who are like still in groups every day. I also see people asking for recommendations. Yeah. And then the cool thing is, some of the people who work with Pretty Focus students are saying, go to the Pretty Focus Buyers Club, right? And I'm like, oh, I hope there's someone in there who has availability.
I know. It's crazy. So a lot of people want to know this. So I'm going to ask you this. How do bloggers make money? Like, this is the big question that I get asked whenever I tell people that I work with bloggers. They're like,
oh. Well, I mean, when we were talking about how do we describe Pretty Focused, I'm like, how do we describe something where you're working for someone, like working for a blogger, when they don't even know bloggers make money, right? Like and it's a question I get all the time too. So I think there's no one way, because it's, it's new and there's so many opportunities online. But I would say, especially for food bloggers, probably the biggest way is through ads. So, people always complain about ads on websites.
But mama's got to eat.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like the way to give like free content, and then the blogger gets paid for doing the work, right? So that's a big one. And that is always getting better and better. Like the rates, as the technology gets better, have been able to significantly increase for bloggers, which is why they're able to now do things like outsource. The other one would be sponsorships, and that's a huge one too. And that's where, like, you know, you could have like a tomato sauce, you know, like grocery store brand, and they could ask me to make a spaghetti and meatballs recipe, and then they pay to have me use like and put a picture of their particular brand in the post. So it's another form of advertising, but it's one where you'll see like this post was sponsored on behalf of X, you know, all opinions are my own. So it's disclosed, but it's, you know, the post was paid for by that brand, and that's typically why that product was used. So that's the second big way. Another way is called affiliate marketing, and that's where you recommend something, and then if someone buys it, you get a percentage of the earnings.
Yeah.
So if I recommended, you know, a soup bowl to you and you purchase a soup bowl, the soup bowl doesn't cost any different than if I didn't recommend it, but the company pays me a portion for recommending it to you and having you buy it. So that would be a way. That's quite common.
And we see a lot of that with Amazon. Amazon affiliates is a huge one. Yeah.
Huge. And then the other way I would say that's quite normal now for bloggers is through either cookbooks or ebooks or products. So, you know, you could see like on a food blogger site, like buy a meal plan, like, so they sell a meal plan, or, you know,
super helpful, by the way. Yes. Yeah.
So those are all the ways. And so, I mean, bloggers can earn anything from, you know, a few $100 a month to like the massive food bloggers can earn like 6 figures a month, right? Like it really, there's two ends of the spectrum. And then, so I think people will be listening saying, why would I work for bloggers? Why wouldn't I become a blogger?
Right. Because they're going to be like, dang.
The trade-off is, a blogger can wait 2 or 3 years to see like their first bit of income, right? Like you have, because in order to make money as a blogger, you need to have an audience, and in order to build an audience, you need time. So for me, I worked full time while, so I sacrificed sleep. Like everyone's always like, how did you do it? I'm like, I didn't sleep for about 3 years.
She's
like
so driven. I'm like, no, 10 o'clock.
I was a crazy person, right? But you build up an audience, and then one day you start making money. Like the audience is big enough that you can make money. So like a lot of the photographers in the group have started saying like, you know, maybe I should start a blog, because they're creating content for bloggers.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times I'll say, well, you totally could, but think like when you photograph a recipe now, you photograph it for the blogger, you get paid. If you put it on your own blog, you could be waiting 2 years to get paid. So it's thinking about priorities. So I think like if I, you know, were a single mom with young kids who wanted to supplement my family, like my family's income, this would be like this is what I would do now, like just to like, you know, worry about
money now.
Yeah, like worry about building that business when the kids are in school, and you know, and over time, and like you can get, if you need money, like work for bloggers now and learn and perfect and do all those things. And I think it wasn't available. Like I think like the cool thing is like we've created this like job, right? Like that is in need that no one knows about. Like it's so cool to me. And I think the other thing that's cool is, oh my gosh, I'm rambling. I'm sorry. But
no, it's all good. This is so good. Keep going.
I think the other thing is cool, and you and I are both passionate about this, is there's so many students in our course and so many of our friends just in real life who need extra money, and they turn to MLMs, right? Like and then they, you know, work, and then they make like $60 in the week, or they have to like, this is not that. And I'm like so proud to be able to offer people an alternative, right? That is like a real job and a real business, and something that's giving like a skill, and it's in demand, and it's like legitimate, but you can do it from your house. You can do it from your kitchen. Like you like show your setup, and it's in your kids' playroom. Like, like, you know, it's amazing. Like people are getting groceries delivered, right? So they don't even need to have like technology. Like you don't even have to leave your house. You can come, and like your kids can be playing the whole time while you're working. And it's just, and they're like feeding that thing they made to their family for like dinner.
Yeah.
I I'm so proud of it when I think about it and the opportunities
I
that,
know I don't even think we realized when we started, we're like, this
no,
is a great opportunity. Like we need to
yeah,
teach people how to do this. We didn't even realize
yeah,
the impact it would make
yeah,
on the lives of women all over Canada, all over the United, like North America, because
in North America,
we've got people in Canada, we've got people in the United States. I mean, they're all over North America doing this, working from their kitchens,
I know,
working from their playrooms.
yeah,
You know, we and yes, we've got stay-at-home moms, we've got single moms, we have a full-time kindergarten teacher.
yeah,
She teaches kindergarten full time and she's doing this on the weekends.
oh my
And she
gosh,
paid for her like Christmas
yeah.
presents and then some.
That's amazing. And I think too, like we underestimate. So we always talk about how it's changed the lives of our students, but I think the cool thing that's making it successful is it's changing bloggers' lives too, right? Like,
Yeah.
which is unintended. Like I actually had someone send me a thank you note, like email it to me about creating the course because they always had struggled for so long to find a photographer and then say like you saw the need and you created the course and now I can do this. And I'm like, what? Like
That's incredible.
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, like and I'm like,
Wow.
holy yeah, like I would have never thought like you forget that that is also like life changing when there's a woman who's a blogger and she's just so overworked and she can hire a person that's trained and understands her business to come in and help
Yeah.
her like that would be life changing too.
Yeah. And I think that I do have to say, I love that about Pretty Focus is that we're not just, here's how to take pictures of food.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yes.
It's and I think it's something that bloggers can appreciate too, is that we're constantly working and like we've got the radars out. What is changing in the blogging world? And because it constantly changes. And well, I don't want to say constantly changes, but it can change. You know what I mean? There's new ways. Okay, people are responding to photos a different way. We need to do this. So, and we're taking that and continuing to educate our students on the changes. And so the bloggers are not just getting somebody who knows how to take pictures
Yeah.
of a lasagna, but they understand the way the blogging world works.
I
And
think
so
so. And
yeah.
specific type of photo that a blog needs, right?
Yes,
Because
that's
there
the other
are
thing too.
incredible food
Yep.
photographers who were trained, but they're not going to be successfully shooting for a blog, right? Because it's too editorial. It's not something that when you're searching for a lasagna recipe to feed your family, you don't want weird stuff on it, right? Like,
For
it's
sure. Yeah.
also people like a specific photography style. And so I think they're really grateful for that they're not having that huge learning curve.
Yes. Yeah.
Look
And
at us patting ourselves on the back.
yeah, yeah, I
But
know.
it's so exciting for me to see like on both sides the big changes and the opportunities that are there.
Yeah. It's been amazing to watch
Yeah.
both grow, bloggers grow because they're able to outsource, and just to watch these women who hated waitressing tables.
Yeah.
And Trisha was saying how she can now proudly tell somebody, like she said for the first time, she is proud to tell people what she does.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Can you imagine? Like, yeah. Oh my gosh. That like,
I know.
yeah.
I know. And it's just, so we have all kinds of stories like that,
Yeah.
that are just so exciting. And
Yeah.
I just can't wait for all of the opportunities that will come up. And it's not like Ivy, it doesn't stop here. It gives you the tools, and it just helps you to expand and take it like one step forward, like the things that I've been able to do, like because I've worked with you, I've been able to work with some local bakeries here in town and do some food photography, and even product photography for places here in town, because I've learned the skills to be able to do that. And now Ivy is just taking it one step further. She's got this incredible website where she is now she's got her own like recipe shop where she's selling recipes straight from her website. She sold out. Like she just did this soft launch and she sold out. And so people are wondering like, how do we find clients? You know, where do we go? Well, we start in, you know, we introduce you guys in Facebook groups because Facebook groups are huge right now. But then it goes beyond that. It's like, that's where your meeting point, and that's where you and I met.
Yeah.
And look what has happened.
It's crazy.
The opportunities it's brought both of us. And so that's where it starts. Like, that's where the introduction starts. But you build relationships. And so Ivy has built relationships. And then she had a blogger beg her. She says, please, you have got to work with me. And Ivy's like, I don't think I have time.
Oh my gosh.
She said, please, I have had 2 people take my money and not do any work. So they have had.
But they weren't pretty focused.
They were not pretty focused.
Oh, okay.
No, but they were other people who have just taken her money and have run. And they've not provided any work for her. And so she saw Ivy, she saw this pretty focused student, and people see that in pretty focused students because unfortunately there's some pretty not nice people out there.
There are. Yeah. And I think like there is, for bloggers, there's a legitimacy in knowing that we run it because they like know us or they know of us. And then so like, oh, they've graduated, they're vouched for them, like that. Like, because we're putting our reputations on the line too, right?
I know. Yeah. Exactly. That's right. That's why.
In emails,
like bar is like up here.
So I think it's a level of protection. Like that breaks my heart that someone would like take money and not do the job. Right?
I know. Yep. Yeah. And so bloggers come to the Pretty Focused Buyers Club. Yeah. They come because they know that they're going to see high quality work.
Right.
They go through the portfolios and your friends comment all the time about like, did we just wave a magic wand?
I know.
And turn them all into photographers.
I know. It's awesome. Like I would say like the most successful people are the people that have a combination of like good photography skills and good customer service skills, right? Mm-hmm. Like I think those are the people that just rise to the top. But then there are other people who are like, you know what, I don't want to deal with clients, and they create their own recipes and sell them, right? Like so I think there's different personality types who have been able to make this work, which is awesome too.
Yep.
So I don't know. I'm excited about where it can go for sure, and what students can do, and just all the stories we're going to hear about other lives that have been changed, because it's pretty exciting.
Pretty exciting. No pun intended. I love it. Oh my goodness. Stephanie, thank you so much for talking with us. And we just love the wisdom that you pour into our students continually from the blogger standpoint. I mean, you've been doing this for 10 years. You have your own blogging membership group with a group of other really veteran, successful bloggers. And so not just you, but we have those bloggers pouring into our students as well, and just helping propel them forward to the next level. So we can keep up with the demand, so we can continue to add value to work. So thank you so much for you're one of the most generous people that I know. So thank you so much for sharing with us today, talking with us, and just letting us hear, your experience with blogging.
Awesome. Thanks so much.